Obviously, we're really excited for the season. I think the fact that we return a lot of guys, we have a couple guys sitting out that we think are really good players, except we lost two guys, David Jenkins and Brandon Newman, that really helped us last year. But excited for our new guys to blend in, excited for our returners to grow and use the experiences that we had last year across the board to really help us have a better year than we did last year, and that's the goal for us. Obviously, we had a tough finish to the season, losing in the first round, and hopefully that sits with us as a coaching staff and really as a program to make us better, so we can have more success in March. But as you guys all know, it doesn't start there, and the process starts all over, and you can't miss any steps, and you got to just keep growing your program and keep growing your group, and we just have to be collectively a little bit more confident than we were at the end of the year. And but really looking forward to working with our guys, and we had a good summer. We've done a good job here in the fall of competing and practicing. We have a very deep team, so I think that competition's got to get us better every single day, just not on game night, and it has so far, but we just got to keep competing against each other and getting better, and really just kind of staying on edge. I think that's an important piece when you have some success, is to keep everybody grounded, keep everybody together, but stay on edge.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open the floor for questions.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN. Matt, how you doing?
Hello, Myron.
For some coaches, after a tough loss like that in the postseason, maybe they erase the game film and move forward. Others linger. It lingers with them. For you, what was sort of your process after that difficult loss?
Yeah, I think I'm more of the latter in terms of I don't think it'll stay with me like through the year. I think it'll stay with me forever. I wish it didn't, but I think that's part of being competitive. I think it's part of coaching. Like, you don't sit around and shine your trophies. You sit around and wonder why in the hell you couldn't beat somebody, 17 years ago on a cold Wednesday night. But for us, it's it's part of a process. It's part of getting out there and putting yourself in a great position. I think we've had a lot of pushback, and so I tell our guys about that. Like, you have to understand that some of that pushback's true, and you have to embrace that. Like, we have lost, to some people where we've been the better seed in the NCAA tournament here the past 4 or 5 years. But our freshman backcourt lost one of those games. Like, they haven't been with us for 5 years. So I always say, I'm the common denominator, our staff is, and we got to be able to make some adjustments and do some different things. But I don't care what game you play in. If you turn the basketball over and you shoot a high volume of threes and you shoot a low percentage, you're going to have a tough time winning it. And that's where we struggle in any game we play, but that's where everybody struggles if they use the three, as much as we do. And I think that's one of those things. If you just get shots up, you're constantly giving yourself a chance to score, but you're also, when you're one of the top 5 rebounding teams in the country, you're giving yourself a chance to rebound also. And I think for us, we just got to keep playing to our strengths and understand, we had the number 1 offense versus the top 100 last year. And then somebody says, well, it looks like you need to change your offense. And I'm like, I don't think we need to change our offense. I think we need to play better. I think we need to collectively grow as a group and be more confident. And I think that's really going to help us through competition this year with some of the new guys that we have and some of the returners that we have. I think that competition can really help us.
Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News. You had a freshman backcourt last year, 2 starters, neither of whom was a 5-star guy, and you got 2 championships out of them. But toward the end of the year, it did appear that they got worn down. How much has the off season and a full year of college strength training, Purdue strength training, helped them, and will it help them through the year?
Well, I think the answer lies in how they play this year, right? But both of them are workers. Both of them put in a lot of time, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. Good players, cerebral, competitive. So just looking for them to, keep making strides and having that better season. You're on the job you know basketball, but you haven't been through it. And kind of like what you alluded to, you get to the end, and it gets harder. There's no question, but it gets harder for everybody. Like the rules aren't different for them than they are anybody else. So I think you learn from that, and you learn from that experience, and then obviously you become better. But I think for us collectively also, I think everybody needs to be able, to keep improving and making the jumps. And then sometimes when you have success, that's hard to do. But I don't think it's hard to do in our situation for what happened to us in the tournament.
Coach Painter, how you doing? Lewis Jackson here with Beyond the Big Ten. Two-part question for you. The success you guys had last year, how do you keep your guys engaged and ready to go this year with the expectations they have? And as well for you, we always talk about how the players prepare for the season. What is your preparation mentally getting ready just for the non-conference and getting ready for the Big Ten with the expectations you have?
Yeah, it's good questions. For us, it's trying to start in June and July. I'm not really, we work out, we do different things, but if they give you time to practice, I normally practice. Because I think when you run a lot of stuff, you have to have everybody on the same page, and you got to give your young guys a chance too. If you just don't know what's going on and you're not up to speed on our defensive rules and what we run offensively, you're just going to be behind. And you want to get everybody, together in that sense. So I think we've started years. We're the only team in college basketball that's been undefeated in non-conference back-to-back years, and we faced some really good people on neutral courts. So some of the wins that we've had have been really good. They've got us to where, we've been ranked number one in the country at different times 2 years in a row. So, 2 years ago we thought we were in a position to win the league, and we didn't. And that was hard. We get to the Sweet 16, but that was still difficult. Last year we won the league by 3 games, but we didn't play great down the stretch. We still had moments. I shouldn't say we didn't play great. We didn't shoot great. And I think that took away from us. Even though we win the Big Ten tournament, it was still kind of that little bit of that slow deterioration when it came to our confidence. And as a coach, you try to do everything in your power to help them. Like you shoot more, you're more positive. You try to. But when you get into those games and then that's not working. Now you try to find mixes and find different groups that maybe can help you. And sometimes you got to win a different way. You got to be a little grimier. You got to be tougher on defense. Got to be better on the glass. So just trying to get everybody prepared for the season and ready for the season. I think that's the key, is getting off to that good start, which we've been able to do. You can get off to those good starts, and now you get to conference season, even though we play a couple conference games in December, I think you can really pick up steam that way. But also injuries or foul trouble or confidence issues that we mentioned can hold you back a little bit. So everybody has adversity. No one is excused from adversity, and how you handle that adversity. So in the last couple of years, I've been really proud of our guys, because I thought we've done a great job throughout the course of the season in that area. We just got to keep getting better.
Got a final question, Coach, on the right side?
Myron Metcalf, ESPN, again. Obviously, Zach Edey could come back, win the Wooden Award 2 times. I think Ralph Sampson's the last one to do that. But what are you all hearing about him at the next level, and whether or not there's a place for him in the NBA?
Yeah. Well, obviously, we were excited about Zach coming back. This is his 7th year of organized basketball. His 4th in college and his 3rd in high school. He didn't play freshman basketball. So, he's at a different learning curve and a growth than normal people at, age 22 and playing in college basketball. So, I think he's still getting better. He really improved last year. His free throw percentage, his rebounds per minute, his ability to protect the rim. 2 years ago, he was borderline non-existent as a rim protector. He might have changed some things, but he wasn't getting blocks. Last year, he got blocks. He changed things. His ball screen defense was good. His motor was better. Now I think his next step is really just, how can't you believe in yourself when you're the consensus National Player of the Year, right? But he doesn't have those experiences where when he was 8, 9, 10 years old, he's the best player. He's the best player in his area. He didn't have those things. So the confidence thing for him is so important. In terms of growth in the NBA and I believe he's an NBA player. I think if people were around him all the time, he's very functional in what he does. When he first got here, his inability to pass what was a tough thing. Now he's a very good passer. He understands things. He really conceptualizes what's going on the offensive end of the court. So like he can rebound, he can defend he can protect the rim. A lot of people want to equate like his success needs to be from shooting perimeter shots. And the game's different. It's not a post-up game in the NBA anymore. But I still think with all the attributes that I mentioned that he's an NBA player, but he's also got to prove that. He's got to knock down that threshold. It's no different than buying a house. There's just not a lot of comps out there for him. You know what I mean? Normally when you go buy a house, you find the 5 comps and you get to your price, and that's how they kind of gauge that. Well, he doesn't have that. It would really help if somebody like Shaquille O'Neal was in the NBA and everybody had to have 2 to 3 guys on a roster to guard him. Things of that nature. They just don't have those type of guys anymore, and it's going away from it. But I think he's got more to him than just a low post player. I think he can do other things, and I think if somebody gives him a chance, he'll show that.
Coach Matt Painter, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.